Hi everyone, Michael here from Night Noon Games, and today we are continuing my ongoing Shadowdark prep series. This prep session is a little bit special though, since I'm prepping for a one-on-one session with one of my players. So why is this just going to be a one-on-one session? First off, my group is going to a beer tasting next week during our regular play session. And second off, it's because of a strange incident with carousing. Now, what is carousing, you may ask? Let's go to the rules for an explanation. When you return from the Shadowdark, you can carouse to celebrate your heroic exploits. To carouse, each participant pitches in the cost of the event, then each participant rolls a 1d8 plus the event bonus to determine their own outcome. As for the outcomes, each character gains the XP noted for their result, along with any other ill or positive effects. If the group decides to play out the results as an individual role, the entire carousing group is usually present for the events. So essentially, this is in downtime when all the players have time to celebrate. They're going to go out and celebrate with an evening or a day or a week or whatever it is of carousing. If you look here on the carousing table, you can see that there is a bunch of different things you can do. My players, since it's still early on, they're all just leveling up to level 2 now. They only had 30 gold to spare, so they went out for a worthy night of drinking and festivity, so they get a 0 bonus. So you would imagine that the highest carousing outcome they could get would be 8, since they roll a d8, right? Not quite right. And that's because one of the characters is a bard. So with a bard, which is an official class but is going to be released in a future Cursed Scroll zine, you get a prolific talent. Add 1d6 to your learning rolls. Group carousing with one or more bards adds 1d6 to their rolls. So since this bard is hanging out with all their buddies, they all get to add a d6 to their carousing roll. So the way I run carousing is that everyone at the table gets their own roll. This creates a lot of really interesting outcomes and not just one outcome that's shared among all of the players. For instance, if we go back into our session notes from last session, we had 2 players that rolled a 7, so that means they led the entire tavern on a wildly insulting song about a disliked noble. Gained 4 XP and a famous bard ally. Since 2 people rolled that, we decided to give it 2 new bard allies. Here are the notes on those 2 allies. One of them is Miranel, the elf bard, very old, lawful, wealthy, and refined in their ways. And the other is Yorin, the mid, a dwarf, middle-aged, chaotic, standard wealth, and greedy. And together we decided that these 2 bards are actually rivals. So 2 of the players at the table are friends with separate bards, but those 2 bards are rivals. We can see later on how that might work into the story. Getting back to why this is a one-on-one session, of course, the bard in the party, which is Cesar Bond, when he was carousing, he maxed out both dies. He rolled an 8 on his d8 and a 6 on his d6, which gave him a 14 plus. You wake up deep inside the local ruler's stronghold, holding one of their priceless family heirlooms. Footsteps approach. Gain 6 XP and a 90 to 100 item from the treasure table if you escape. We decided what that was going to be together there at the table. So the thing that we did was we went into treasure and he rolled a d10 to determine what he got on the 90 to 100 range and rolled a magic wand with a 2nd tier spell on it. We did some more rolls, which again, the Shadowdark core rules are great for, and we rolled up the wand's feature, which was obsidian with ivory tips, and we rolled up what that 2nd tier spell was as well, which was Hold Person. This is a pretty great wand, and I can see why it would be in the family vault. As for Hold Person, you magically paralyze one humanoid creature of level 4 or less you can see within range. In Shadowdark, only specific players can use wands and scrolls. As you can see here, only spellcasters can use them to cast spells, and the spell also has to be on their spell list. So since Hold Person is a wizard spell, you couldn't have a witch casting it, for instance. However, going back to the interesting things about the bards, is that they are magical dabblers. So they can actually use spell scrolls and wands, any spell scrolls and wands, with their own spellcasting stat being charisma. So the bard ending up in this situation is probably the best one that can. And this bard already does have a wand that can make people fly for up to 5 rounds. So a second wand would be a great accoutrement to his abilities. But what exactly does it mean that he woke up inside the local ruler's stronghold holding a priceless family heirloom? To get to that, let's go back and recap what happened during this last session. The last session was a prison break. The group of players, Broomhilda, the fighter, Caesar, the bard, Daravi, the wizard, Gordy, the thief, and Vorvindinios, the Knight of St. Idris, all went into a prison to break out some allies of Kresh, who was a local freedom fighter who was smuggling in medical supplies and food to the city of Mirkos because it's greatly needed. When they went to Kresh for help getting medical supplies to the city of Trethel, Kresh said, "Hey, I can help you out, but I need some of my people back who are being held in this prison in the inner city." And we determined in a previous world building session that the prison was in the same region as the government buildings and as Lord Percy's mansion. Lord Percy, the ruler of the city of Mirkos, his mansion sits atop a hill in the marketplace and in the city center. And this prison is at the bottom of a hill built into the base of it. The characters went crawling into the prison, just bringing their freedom-fighting compatriots, only to find they weren't there. But they were able to solve a series of puzzles to go deep into the prison and eventually find these 4 prisoners. Along the way, they battled some animated armor and dealt with some traps too. And then they went up a secret staircase, which actually led into Lord Percy's mansion. They didn't do much exploring there as they were being pretty cautious, but they did escape out the window and then back to the city where they went carousing. So that brings us back to Caesar and understanding how he ended up back in the Lord's mansion. I think in his drunken state, he got a little full of himself and he snuck back in on his own accord. He lucked past some guards and other things, and they'll just finally coming to, just finally sobering up with the wand in his hand. So now I'm prepping for a little one-on-one session between him and I to determine what happens next. The plan for this one-on-one session, let's start a new session planning template. And I'm going to copy some things over. I like to copy over the secrets and clues from the previous session in case those things were revealed. And there we go. And I will probably create NPC characters for Miranel and Jorin a little bit later. Probably for the next prep session because they're not going to have any effect on this one-on-one session. And so the characters that we're going to be dealing with today is just Caesar Bond. So Caesar is the human bar, lawful follower of St. Regnis, and is a sailor who came to this land from a faraway place. He decided to settle here somewhat because he was intrigued by the great dragon turtle that is off the shore on an island that is dead and is revered by the people of the realm. And as for the strong start, it's already baked in because we know that Caesar is going to wake up deep inside the local ruler's stronghold, holding one of the priceless family heirlooms, footsteps approaching. So that is a great strong start. Footsteps approach as Caesar Bond finds himself in Lord Percy's manor with the wand of hold person. So we have started fleshing out what is in Lord Percy's manor, and the secret entrance to the manor where the players all came through last session is in Area 6. They took a right and looked down this hallway into room 7 here, and then they ended up going this way down through into room 13. They took a right in, looked into this hallway, which was a staging area with tables and chairs and things like that would be used for the ballroom in case of an event, and decided to hop out a window that was along this wall here. So I think we have to determine where is the ruler's stronghold and where is Caesar finding himself. I think it's probably going to be in one of the upper floors. Oh, and I didn't label these rooms, but no matter. Ooh, there's a double secret entrances here. So I wonder if that's going to be where it is. And I think this area over here is probably going to be Lord Percy's living quarters. So this is probably the secret storeroom and the bedroom, bathroom, stairs to go downstairs, that kind of thing. He lives in a branch in this manor. So the first scene that's going to probably happen is that Caesar is discovered by Lord Percy. So Percy is going to be the one that finds Caesar. And one thing that we have to do with Percy is we haven't really rolled up anything about Percy, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, we do know something about Lord Percy. So we know that Lord Percy's family has been kidnapped by the bad guys, and he's essentially being held captive in his own home and is forced to do the bidding of Miloš Vinos, who is a mid-tier boss in this villainous group. And I think the secrets that Lord Percy are going to have is that, one, he's going to know that the bandits are part of the larger organization led by Miloš Vinos as part of it. The group's leader is based in the Market District and seated power. And Lord Percy's going to know that there is something happening with the Dragon Turtle in that the villains are keeping an increased guard on it. Why does he think that something's happening to the Dragon Turtle? Because of the villains. And I think that something that Percy can give this adventurer is Percy can quickly write an order to allow Caesar Bond and party to enter Dragon Turtle Island. So this would help them get to the island past the official guards that are patrolling the area of Dragon Turtle Island. However, this would not help if they ran into any of the villain ships. So this could be something that gets played into later, and we might randomize what kind of ship encounters them if they go out there. Or maybe Lord Percy enlists, deputizes Caesar Bond as a sailor into the Navy and gives them a ship which they can use. That would solve the problem of them being recognized as a ship, them having official orders. And that might be a really fun way to go about it. So, yeah, I'm going to do that. So he's going to scroll this out. He's going to make official orders, and he's going to stamp it with a wax seal. And these guys are going to be able to go to the shipyards and get a small ship. So that's going to create some fun sailing adventures. Unfortunately, though, there has to be some sort of complication. We can't make this too easy. And we need more things for Caesar to do, I think, this session. Because it's a one-on-one session and things go quickly. I think that he's going to have to steal the sailor uniforms from port. And I think that's what today's adventure is going to essentially be. Another scene will probably be they would have to fend off 1d4 bandits. Or Miloš Vinos. And I'm actually going to make Miloš Vinos a drow, because I don't have a stat block for them yet. And I think that'd be a cool way to do this. So there's potential they run into Miloš Vinos there, but they'll probably just make it a few bandits that they have to fend off or escape from. So I don't think I need to overcomplicate this. My original thought was, I should get a map and do this out. But I think I'm going to play most of this theater of the mind, especially since it's one-on-one. It makes things a lot easier. So Caesar is going to essentially give the directive. You need to go steal supplies from a store down in port, so you look like sailors when you show up in the morning or whatever. So I think what's going to happen here is he's going to say, report, but you cannot trust the captain of the ship that you're being assigned to. And that's because the captain of the ship is working for this bad guys. They're going to have to go out on this ship and then at some point maybe take it over as well. Crew them on a small patrol ship. Captain of the small ship cannot be trusted. And I think we have to roll up what this NPC is going to be. So we're going to go to NPCs, create a new one, and we'll start out by rolling them up. Ancestry, age, alignment, wealth. Human, adult, chaotic, extravagantly wealthy. And then we're going to do its NPC qualities. 15, 20, and 5. Or 15, 12, and 5, rather. Tattooed. Rare accent. I think this is just going to be a pirate accent. Because why not? Those are fun. Oh, it is a half demon. So that's going to be fun. And this person's name is going to be... Just love the names generator. Names by syllable. It's maybe my favorite table to roll on. 19, 9, 10, and 17. Tor, Q, on. Torn Kuan. And if they're going to be half demon, what does that even look like? Let's find out. Monster statistics. Pretty sure there's a section for demons. Wagon-sized filthy vultures with 4 limbs, midnight blue skin, and a rash of mangy feathers. Yeah. Let's see. 4 set of fanged creatures who walk upright and have 4 arms, 2 shriveled and 2 ending in hulking pinchers. Okay, that sounds awesome. And the party, now they're all at level 2, has a party level of 10. So hypothetically, especially since they get so many extra attacks, they should be able to take on a level 8 creature. So I'm going to have this person be instead of a half demon, is a demon in disguise. So they are a Gabrazu. Hell yeah. I think that sounds super cool. So if they ever mess with Torinquan, then they may run into some issues here. But Lord Percy's going to say, Torinquan cannot be trusted. Then it will also have some random city rolls in the middle of the night for him to go deal with some random encounters. He'll go steal some supplies, and then he can come back. So that's the scene. Random counters on way to port, and then there'll be stealing uniforms and more random encounters on the way back to the party. I think that's going to give me enough fodder to get ready for this one-on-one adventure with Cesar Bond and how he is going to escape from the mansion and get some clues on what's going on and move the story forward and towards the Great Dragon Turtle. If you like this video and want to see more like it, go ahead and click that subscribe button. You can also find links down below in the description to see my itch page, my website, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, so on and so forth. If you have any ideas on what I could be doing differently, where this adventure could go, please leave those down in the comments below. I'd love to read them. And if you haven't been keeping tabs on my other video series, I'm developing a new campaign setting for Shadowdark called The Shadow Lost. To develop this setting, which is a prehistoric, dinosaurs roaming kind of place, I'm actually running a solo campaign to flesh out this setting, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. You're going to be able to find a link to that just popping up on the screen right about now. So once again, until our next adventure, stay inspired and keep those dice rolling. Thanks for watching.